Hello and welcome to the very first episode of MXTC, Masculine Excellence Through Christ. My name is Jake.
And I'm Zach. Zachy boy.
And we are your boys. Episode 1, MXTC. Let's go through that. Start with that.
Yeah, rightio. So
Straight into it, bro.
straight into it. MXTC, Masculine Excellence Through Christ. I reckon we're in a bit of a crisis in this current world. Young boys, young men, adults, just blokes in general kind of lost their way a bit. And we're trying to recorrect that back to Christ and find some masculine excellence in Christ, essentially.
That's it.
Yeah, just recorrect the masculine imperative, I think. I think it's a nice way to go about it. And as young blokes, chat to younger blokes around our age and maybe younger, just to kind of correct the course, mate.
Yeah, that's right.
Correct the course.
I guess you could say that men nowadays. I guess we're all a bit confused on what even a man is, to be frank. But more importantly, a man with Christ qualities. Unfortunately, we just wanted to start something like this where we just dive in deep. I guess like being men in a world that's, I guess, confused about their identity, and confused about who they are. It's almost bringing things back to this old thing, the Bible, and saying, okay, what's actually our role in this world?
Yeah.
What are we designed to do? What has God created us to be, and our role in society, but in relationships, and how we go about challenges that we all face as men.
Yeah, 100%. Like we all have challenges. We all know what those challenges are.
Yeah.
We know what the ways to combat and not to combat them. Some ways to combat these issues are just worldly and they're just not on the path you want to take, and they kind of just lead you down a wrong kind of just down a wrong path, man. You get caught in into those red pill spaces and that kind of stuff. You just get sucked in.
Steep slope, bro.
Oh man. So if you can find a way to kind of wade through the water, and again, like I always say, just recorrect that course back to the absolute truth, which is Christ. You be on. So that's what we're here for. That's what we're here to do. So hopefully we kind of learn something and build our own kind of repertoire of theology and
that's it,
and relationship, I guess.
Yeah. So you are a man of theology. You love that. That's your forte.
That is my bread and butter. I love it, mate. So you're nice to talk to, and you're
I'm lovely. Yeah, lovely.
You're lovely. Yeah, see, you're lovely.
Oh, thanks, mate.
You're eloquent and nice, and like, I'm a blood tool of the Lord.
You are.
That's what I am. I'm a blood tool of the Lord.
But essentially, just bringing some form of advice, or just some form of correction.
That's probably the best way to put it.
As like we can provide some form of correction to men, and well, not even correction. I think it's Christ that corrects us.
Yeah.
It's more just like
trying to lead them to there.
Lead them like be that shepherd, be like, no, this way, guys, like Christ, that's the way type thing.
Yeah.
And if we can be that and help anyone and anyone in
any sort of capacity, like
that's right.
Yeah. And like that raises an interesting point. You know, how do we bring in young men into the church? Like, how do we entice? Not entice, but how do we make Christianity? How do we bring them in?
Yeah,
like,
that's it.
What makes Christianity that men can follow?
Oh, bruh. Someone starts mowing the lawns out. See that? See how Satan works? Like everything is fine, and then as soon as we press record, bruh, someone whips out and starts mowing the grass.
I can't hear that though.
No.
But we can.
we can
hear it.
It's an interesting question you raise. Like we sort of touched on it earlier, which was like building
pre-recording.
in pre-recording when all else failed. But I think the way that we can do, and the way that I've been taught to do, is to build relationships with young men.
Yeah.
Whether that's avenues like through this, where people begin to build a relationship with us, and us with viewers or listeners or whatever, but also those around us, anyone we can disciple and lead to, the way.
Yeah.
The way, the truth, and the life.
Yeah, and like, again, like we were talking about this before, a way that we can kind of draw people into that space and lead, we have to lead Christ's lives. Like, we have to lead that way, and we have to kind of be Christ-like in that essence. So, and we always hear it. We always hear that context of what is Christ-like? Christ-like this. I know we chatted about it before. Christ-like. What is it? How do we go about it?
As men.
And what does Christ-like look like to you?
Doing things in the way that we were designed to.
Yeah.
But in a Christ-like fashion, maybe.
Yeah.
I guess we can get so caught up with being men in the world, but
Yeah.
this world is run by
whatever's going on.
yeah, whatever's going on, like Satan.
Yeah. We're not getting cancelled.
So if we can be men that always go against the narrative
Yep.
that we are taught this day and this age
Yep.
of being, hang on, we were actually created by a creator,
Yeah.
by a God who loves us. We have specific roles to play in this world. How do we go about those specific roles, though?
Okay, so then that again raises a question. What is it actually to be a man? Like,
What is it to be a man?
Yeah. like is it take away obviously the physical qualities of what it means to be a man? Like, what does a man look like firstly, and then like what does a biblical man look like? And then if you can give an example of like, you know, an Old Testament prophet, or obviously the archetype of the prophets was going to be manifested in Christ. So being men that were sinners in the Old Testament, how would you kind of link the two, and how would you say what are we as men now compared to Old Testament prophets, or what does a biblical man look like as well?
So many questions, bro. I didn't know.
There's three. It's bro.
Panicking.
Here we go. You get the cogs turning, mate. Use your brain.
Well, to answer one question, I think, what is a man? You go back to Genesis, Adam, the first man.
Yep.
How he was created. You know, he was given a purpose.
Yep.
And in that purpose was to look after and steward what he had been given.
Responsibility.
That's right. Have a responsibility, steward what he's been given, but also protect those around him, like only Eve. Provide and help lead the relationship. Roles were totally different. Like Eve had one role, Adam had another. They were both as important as one another.
See, and like you say that, and that can ruffle feathers, man. Like you say roles, and you say the word submissive, or you say the word leader, and like in this day and age, you get some pushback.
Oh, for sure.
You get some pushback. So,
but like biblically speaking, that's what we're told to do.
Yeah. Like it's. I wouldn't say it's a negative
not
thing.
We're told to do, but wives are told to submit to their husbands.
Yeah. How do you think that plays out with?
Well,
our counterparts.
Yeah. The word submissive is...
Just clarify that.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean subservient, like you're like a...
That's right.
A lapdog.
Yeah, exactly. Christ is the head of the relationship. Like that triangle.
Yeah, the umbrellas. Everyone always sees that one.
Yeah. That's it. The umbrella. Yep. The other, you got that. And then it's the male's role to lead that.
Yeah.
But equally as important, the lady in the relationship is to submit to that man, but also she's her own individual.
Yeah.
So she makes her own choices or whatever.
No, like and I think we skip over this bit as well, because it does say wives submit to your husbands and husbands submit to your wives as well. So in that sense, that mutual submission essentially leads to what it's kind of alluding to, and kind of see if this kind of makes sense. What it alludes to is if I can serve you the best way I can, and you serve me the best way you can, it's a relationship of servitude.
Yeah.
So now you're in a clear space. You're doing actually things to serve the other person, which kind of edifies the relationship. And then if that service is in relation to God or relation to Christ, in the sense that it's all leading to Christ in a Christ-like way, you gotta have a healthy relationship. Also, let's finish off on that Christ-like topic.
Okay.
What are your thoughts? And again, we've spoken about this before, and it's going to be a rehash.
Yeah.
There is something I kind of live by, and that's you can either love somebody or accept them. You can't do both. It's one or the other.
Okay.
Okay.
Elaborate.
Okay. So if you love somebody, you're going to tell them the truth. You're going to kind of explain things to them. You're going to kind of even rebuke them at some point.
Yep.
You know, you got to tell them, hey, this is not on. We don't do this. But if you accept somebody, you kind of let them go, let them lead a life they want to live. Do you think we've got a different perspective on what that means to have love? Because they always say, oh, it's Christ-like. Why don't you love like Christ did? So can you see the difference in
Yeah. New Testament talks about, and our main commandment is to love the Lord God with all your heart, but also to love yourself and your neighbor.
Yeah.
When you're correcting someone, it's important to do it within love.
Yeah.
So then, if you're in love, you're not condemning in any way. You're actually edifying and
you build it up.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's what you want to do, is you're like correcting the individual and having crucial conversations with them where you're saying, hang on, maybe this isn't right. I want you to be a better person. Let's come this way, you know what I mean?
just
Whereas, what was the other word you said? Accept.
yeah.
Except that's just like, okay.
That's another
I don't know.
bigger word.
Yeah, it's almost like, I don't care about you. Just do whatever you want to do. And that route is just like this spiraling thing.
Because you're just letting go. You don't actually care about their well-being at all. Right. Just kind of, oh yeah, whatever.
And it's almost like an idolization of yourself.
Yeah.
They're just, it's like a me.
Yeah. A big one that men kind of fail to kind of get a grasp on, and this is probably going to be not a taboo topic, but it's something that we all struggle with. Right? Okay. And the stat is, this is the official stats by stats.com.
Stats.com. This is where you get all your sources from.
All my sources. This is free resources here, stats.com. 99% of men watch porn, and 1% of the men that say they don't are liars.
They're liars.
They're liars. How do we battle as young men with the idea of lust?
Oh man, great question.
These are all loaded questions.
It's almost like a topic for itself, though.
We'll tackle it along our journey, because this is a major one for us blokes. We just can't seem to get out of it. That lust aspect of manhood is.
Well, I think firstly, everything is so accessible now. Like at the end of your fingertips, you have like a phone which has access to the World Wide Web and access to any plethora of content you want. Right?
Yeah.
So it's so accessible. Whereas back in the day, it was almost shameful. You had to pay the magazines out and go through all the weird stuff. The DVD player, rewinding it, and
when Mumsy catches you with the old flip books, is like, what's going on here? The magazines, you just get caught out. You just feel like a weirdo.
So like, and everything is trying to get your attention of like sex.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So everything, almost like every ad is like some lady in bikini.
Right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So it's so hard to be a man, like a man that has to exercise self-control. Like the self-control aspect is so difficult nowadays.
Yeah.
Because everything is so accessible. So
yeah, exactly.
In a world where it is so accessible, it's like, is this a temporary feeling that I'm trying to feel? Like, what's the point of what I'm about to do or look at?
What void does it fill?
That's right. Like, is this actually good for me? Is it going to benefit me in any way? Is there any fruit of this?
Yeah.
Or am I just like, it's like an addiction? It's essentially,
is it addiction? Yeah.
Like I'm just, it's no good for you.
Yeah, 100%. Do you think though, like, it's sex has become a part of masculinity and what it means to be a man?
I think in worldly culture now, it's like all a numbers game. It's like, mate. And this is what I hate about it is like women become numbers and objects, and that's what I hate. It's like no, these women are children of God.
Yeah,
and
100%.
There's so much power in that.
Yeah,
the fact that women are created in the likeness and in the image of God, and that each single one of them is a child of God, but they're manipulated and used as objects.
Yeah,
and something like that we can just get some form of satisfaction.
It just feels dirty. It feels dirty.
It is dirty.
Yeah. And this is like a way to kind of think about curbing that need, that something. And I know we don't like the red pill spaces and we're not kind of fond of it. And I know we'll say this as a disclaimer, we're not pick-me's or the white knights of society. Like there are bad people, men and women, they do bad things, and if you're of that worldly kind of lifestyle, you end up in some dangerous positions, right? And everything you take with a grain of salt. It's you never throw out the baby with the bathwater, and a good way to kind of curb that lustful thing. And this is gonna get some kickback.
Yeah.
As soon as I raise this guy's name,
well, I know who that. Yeah.
See, like in this sense, this is great advice. Mm-hmm. Andrew Tate, for whatever you want to take him as, right? If you want to curb these sort of desires, moving into that realm of I've got to work, I've got to do something, I've got to be an active person in society.
Like have a purpose.
Yeah, have a purpose.
God gave Adam that.
Yeah, absolutely. If you take out that worldly purpose, as in, I'm going to do this for me, so I can get that cool, Ferrari or million bucks, whatever.
Yeah.
That's you're still going to be void. Yeah. You're still going to be void. You're going to be hollow. You're going to be a shell. But if you kind of recenter that on Christ, that I'm doing this for the will of God, or if I'm doing this because I want to glorify God. Yeah, you're in some good territory. Yeah, you're in some good territory. You deviate off this lustful desire, and you put your actual energy and your creative prowess, whatever you want to call it, into something that's accessible from the world. You feel your space, you occupy your space in society, and you do your thing as well. You deviate off that lustful thing. Obviously you have that that sneaky eye, it's like, oh yeah, she's kind of. But you kind of, okay, I've got a purpose. I've got to do my things. I've got responsibility.
So what you're saying is that Andrew Tate pushes the narrative of, hey, it's really good to have a purpose.
Yeah.
And that purpose occupies the space of, your thoughts where it's not
correct.
No one's
something to do.
Yeah.
You have something to do. If you're just sitting in your room doing nothing, that's gonna take over. You know, man. Like as dudes, you just know. Like you sit in a room where there's no one around, and you just kind of stay there for a bit. Mm-hmm. You're in trouble. Yeah. So you just occupy yourself. Go to the gym and do something.
Yeah.
So in that sense, the narrative is fantastic, but let's give glory to God first. Mm-hmm. Let's make sure that when we do that, all right, okay, God's on track. Number one.
Yeah.
So that's how, that's something that's a good takeaway from that red pill space. But then the flip side of that would be, oh yeah, have your purpose so you can get girls. That's the difference.
Okay, yeah. And that's what
you'd kind of you kind of look at it and say, well, if you get all the money, you get all the girls.
Yeah.
That's not a Christ-centered approach.
Yeah. To throw back the initial question on you then, like how do you view men or like our role in the world, not in a relationship, in this world, yeah.
Currently, how it stands.
What do you think, biblically speaking, like what is our intended purpose as men?
Okay.
Because essentially, like my things are like men and women, we basically have the same purpose, right?
Yeah.
It's just the roles are different.
Okay. So in terms of our relation to one another, our roles are different, and we kind of complement. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's literally how it works.
Yeah.
That's literally how it works. I think our role is to bear responsibility, and I think Jordan Peterson says this quite well. If we bear responsibility, if we're responsible for someone, that is a purpose, that is a meaning, and the more you can bear in terms of responsibility, that kind of builds your masculine maturity. Essentially, like you know how to accomplish things, you know how to do things. You're a competent human being. You've got responsibility, and you take care of business, and that's essentially it. Being a bold character, standing on the word. Again, we said it before. Just standing on the word, being kind of cutthroat with that, and saying, "Nah, this is not how we operate." And I think that's been lost.
Yeah.
Like, dude, kids these days smoking vapes. Kids, bro, like 13, 14, 15, bro,
crazy, man.
Smoking vapes. They all wear tech fleece, alcohol. Yeah, that's something we've got to talk about as well.
It's sad to see that the youth are gone down that just because they've gone astray.
So where does that come from? So is it their masculine mentors have gone? Like because we know that dads and households are like 1 in a million these days.
Yeah.
So is the kids gone astray because of society as a whole, or because their own masculine reference point is kind of gone askew?
Yeah, I think mainly that. Like, there's no real fantastic role models, Christian role models that they can look to. They have role models like Andrew Tate, who, to a degree, speak some form of fantastic,
like just general life
truth.
Advice. Yeah, 100%.
But then there's also some things where I'm just like, bro, that's just what are you doing? So I think because you don't have that role model, most kids don't even know who I'm sure Jesus is. Like, I think we're a generation where we have the Bible at our fingertips. We're the most accessible generation to the Bible, yet we're the most incompetent. And that's the sad thing is that, back in the day you literally had to get the Bible out. The physical thing.
Like manuscript, mate. I could rattle them, man.
That's it, a scroll, bro.
Scroll.
Had a wrapper, And you had to basically do that, whereas now it's at our fingertips when no one reads it.
Yeah, different what's it called? Translations.
Yeah.
Different, like there's everything accessible for you to read. If you want to read something a little bit different, something a little bit, a little bit fancy, you can find a new translation. But so everything's so accessible, and like I said, like the kids don't even know who Jesus is. Like there's no.
That's right.
Yeah,
it's like so what their, I guess, narrative is, or their idling is just what their friends are doing because they have no role models to know what is good and what is bad. Because
and they just
when you're of this world, you are run by essentially Satan.
It's literally,
literally. If it's not of God, it's of Satan.
Yeah,
so it's
100%.
it's sad to see, dude. Like these young kids running around just on the vape.
Yeah.
You know, a bit of strawberry, watermelon.
Sure, yeah. Pineapple buzz.
Oh, dude. And then alcohol as well. Like that's another story. You see so many kids just drinking because they think it's cool.
Yeah. Quick shot fire question. Biblically acceptable alcohol? Yes, no.
From my interpretation, my belief, I think alcohol to an extent, as long as you stay sober minded. As soon as you lose, basically, control.
Yeah.
Lose the self control.
Yeah.
That's when it becomes dangerous. So I know you're a man that loves a red wine with a pasta.
Boy, do I.
We went out for dinner recently. Not just the two of us.
We'll explain it. Context is king, but Christ is king. Christ is king. So here he is. We went out for dinner, escape room after that. We were in a dark room, handcuffed to each other.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Yeah, without context, that doesn't make sense. But no, we're good. We're keeping it Christ centered.
Yeah, so we did an escape room, and there's a few of us, and we were unfortunately handcuffed together
To get out of it, yeah.
It
It was good.
then we went out for dinner.
Yeah. Oh man, I didn't have wine that night, but yeah, I do. I'm keeping it biblical, man. I'm drinking wine.
Yeah,
Drinking the real stuff.
yeah.
the
Do you
real
want water to wine?
bro. Only one man can do that.
So, but for me, like it's just
You're not a drinker, are you?
no, I don't drink alcohol, and
At all?
Nothing to do with biblically speaking. It's more health reasons, and then I've just seen the deterioration of what it can do to family.
Yeah, right. Okay, so you're completely on.
Yeah, just
I didn't know that.
really.
No, I thought I just knew you didn't drink.
I used to, same as you, just love. I think it increases some form of taste with dinner. There's something about it, like an occasional one. But I would just like
It's a liquid confidence, mate. Back in the
get
BC
the
days.
big goggles on.
Oh yeah, bro. They're beer goggles, man.
I just took a step back and was like, there's no fruit.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing is, what are I doing? Producing fruit or no? And
Yeah.
I've made silly choices under the influence of alcohol, and I let it get to the better of me. And I think its original biblical name was spirit taker or something.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It just takes.
What alcohol? Like I think the root. If you're looking at, here's my brains. The etymology of the word, like the root word, it's some sort of Semitic language. I'm not sure if it's Arabic or something. Just it's spirit stealer or something like that.
Red flag.
So yeah. So that's why that's why they call it spirit.
Yeah.
And booze, because booze, devil, ghost.
Interesting.
That just came to my mind. I don't know if that's real.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't drink just for those reasons. It's nothing to do with the Bible and my agreement or disagreement, but it's important to stay sober minded to make choices.
Yep.
Produce fruit.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's another quick question.
Yeah. You love your questions, bro.
I do. Like I just rattle them off. Like, it's just
you've been waiting to spit these questions for years.
No, man. I need someone to talk to.
This ain't a Bible. This is your questions.
It's not actually a Bible. It's just full of my questions. So one thing that might deter young dudes coming into the Christian space, into the sphere, would be the whole idea of like this Christian perfectionism, right? I'm not sure if you've heard of it. You like that people assume that we're just kind of some heavenly saint angel, right? I think something like this would be a bit of context as well to peer into the lives of Christians who have been part of Christianity or Christendom for a long time.
Yeah.
Or what would you have to say to somebody coming in to say, oh man, like I don't know if I can be perfect like that. I don't know. There's too many rules. And I'll give you the analogy later. I'll give you the sports analogy.
Okay.
Because obviously I've got answers to these questions. I can't just free give them to you. How would you talk to somebody about the rules of Christendom and are we full of rules and are we full of legislations and Christian perfectionism? Give it to me.
Well, firstly, I was originally part of a different religion back in the day.
Okay, let's.
I'm not now.
Not now.
Not now.
Okay, not now.
If people want it, sure, maybe. But I just found that religion too religious, right?
Yeah.
It was
regimented.
That's it. Yeah, it was just like, you have to do this. If you don't do that, you're a bad person, right? But now it's like, okay, Christianity, I find it's the following of Christ. And all that matters is your relationship with Christ. And at the end of the day, we are still human, bro. Although we follow a perfect person, we aren't perfect ourselves. That's why we follow him.
Correct. Yeah.
Because then we have a perfect role model. So I cannot stand it when people, family members, you might do something, you might say something. Yeah, sometimes I do agree it might not be, but they bring in, that's not Christ-like. It's like, bro, are you kidding me?
Yeah. It's just stabbing the gut.
Yeah, that's it. And it's just so annoying. Like, you might just speak the truth, and the truth hurts
People, and they kind of just tell it onto that.
That's right. It's not Christ. I'm like, hang on. Yes, it is, brother. Like, Christ was an absolute weapon with some things.
Yeah, well, he definitely wasn't nice. That's definitely not an attribute that he had.
Is it?
Here's another interesting thing. The root word or etymology of nice comes back to naivety. So if you're a naive person, you're nice because you so do some research.
What's your sport analogy?
Oh yeah. So the way I like to kind of describe this to people is, people think Christianity is just a whole bunch of rules, a whole set of rules, and religion is all just a set of rules, right? But that's how you operate in life. Like, there is bounds, there is boundaries, there is standards you have to upkeep. And like, we'll use soccer. I know you don't like me using the soccer analogy, but we're going to use it anyway because it's just easier. It's a worldwide sport. This is a worldwide order.
Yes, yeah, sure.
Mr. Worldwide, it's real bad. But yeah, so within soccer, you've got the ground dimensions. Yep. You can't obviously cross the lines. You can do whatever you like in soccer, as long as it's with your feet. Okay. There are skillful players. What's the triple Fs? Flamboyant, finesse, and fancy, whatever it is.
Sure.
I'm just making this stuff up.
Sure.
On the fly. See another F. Yeah. So you've got players who are quite skillful, and you've got players who are a bit more, blunt objects. Yeah. So the dimensions of how you play the game can be completely different, but there are rules that say if you pick the ball up with your hands, well, you're in the sin bin.
Yeah.
You get a yellow card.
Sin bin, yeah.
Yeah, you're in the sin bin. You get that yellow card or that red card. That's kind of, then that's that judgment, or that this is where we draw a line. We don't do that. So if you can use that analogy, wrap your head around that analogy, it kind of makes sense that, yes, while Christianity has a set of boundaries and a set of standards that you have to uphold, there's freedom within that. And you can be a fun Christian. People just forget that.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a bot or an NPC. That's not the calling.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a bot.
But all those boundaries are essentially to protect us as individuals.
Yeah.
We use the example of not having sex before marriage. Okay, so
good topic.
So why is that advice? Not a rule, advice. Why does God give that advice?
Yeah.
And it's okay, well, it's to protect the individual. It's to protect the heart of the people. So you're not going around sleeping around and giving parts of yourself to other people, ultimately making you a broken individual. It's, hey, let's steward what you're created to be, the intimacy that you're created for your wife. It's so then there's fruit and you live a God-filled life.
Yeah.
And, same with murder. Another example is, why don't you murder? Why don't you go around murdering people? It's, okay. Was to protect you and the individuals.
Yeah. Like yes, they are rules, but they're actually better than rules. They're like general life advice. And if people forget that, like the rules, they're rules that you adhere to anyway. And then obviously you have deterioration of those rules in society, where society is just like, oh, we're not Christian and we don't do that anymore. Yeah. But those rules still apply. Mm-hmm. Everyone knows, if you just keep sleeping around, whilst you don't want to agree with it, or whilst you don't want to kind of face the reality of it, you do have soul ties, and you become an empty, shallow person. Like, you just can't retain any intimacy with anybody else.
That's right. You're giving parts of yourself to other people.
Yeah, you explain that usually quite well. Like, you're always just giving parts of yourself all the time until you just become depleted.
Yeah.
So that's a great one from your way. So no, that's a good one. We'll close with this, I reckon.
Okay.
Here it is.
Yeah.
As we go along, we will obviously, this is on the cuff.
So many topics to talk.
Yeah, this is on the cuff, by the way. This is a good one. As we go along, we're going to start talking about different theologies and different denominations and this and that.
Okay.
Here's a tip, or here's not a tip. This is a hint. We come from different denominational backgrounds.
Yeah.
If at any point you can guess it, what should we do?
I don't know.
We can't say any trigger words.
Okay.
You can't say any trigger words. Like, you can't say, like, if you're, say, No, we won't name anything. We won't name anything.
Okay.
They got to guess at some point.
Okay.
What we are.
Just guess.
And then from there, let's see if they can guess what churches we're talking about when we say, or we start to kind of like, oh, this is interesting theology.
Yep.
We might throw a few things in there so we can kind of help them out. But, So that's the aim is to figure out what kind of denomination we are.
Yeah. We're obviously both Christian.
Yeah. We're not heretics. We're not heretics. But which one? So that'll be a cool little incentive to keep listening.
Mm.
Two different. So this is gonna be
Yeah.
a bit of a different.
And both come from extremely different
backgrounds.
well.
Yeah.
'Cause we've both sort of
Journeyed.
jumped ship to different denominations.
Yeah.
Gone through a journey, and I guess gone to ones that we think fits us.
Yep.
And gone away from the ones that we know are, yeah.
There's some interesting things going on. So yeah, no, it'll be interesting. And double points if you can guess where we came from. Unless they know us.
Yeah, exactly right.
But yeah, no. How was that, man? Pilot episode. How you feeling?
I thought it was good. I love chatting with you. We do anyway. So
I see you
having
every
a
day.
chat. Yeah, I see this bloke every day. We met at a cafe, my cafe.
Yeah.
Shout
out.
Having this conversation just seems natural anyway.
Yeah. And it's good to make it on a platform. It's like what we normally have is just kind of available to you guys because this is off the cuff, man.
And if we can usher some young men into
Yeah.
yeah, okay, hang on.
Yeah, you working with children, Shaq?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I don't know if it's expired though. If we can usher just young men into the direction to live lives for Christ.
Yeah, just even question it. Say, look, man, we're living in 2024.
Yeah. Because we said it earlier. It's like there's so much confusion and lost identity to what a man is and our roles in the world and how we go about living life in this confused world. So if we can offer any advice or just talk about
that's all it is.
about what it's like to be Christian men.
Yeah. Like I said before, it's just to peer into the context and see what it's like to be on this side of the circle. And like again, we're young dudes that are living in a worldly society with the worldly temptations that everybody else have or has. Is that English?
That's English.
It's English. It's some sort of English.
Yeah, well, you're learning Hebrew. So
I'm learning. Yeah, exactly.
Your mind is in Hebrew.
You know that Drake and that Lil Yachty meme? It's like they're on the laptop and it's like,
bro, I'm going to show you.
Oh, what? Oh. But yeah, no, it's just a peep on the inside to see, we are still human. We still have the same temptation. We still have the same issues that everybody else has. But essentially, we kind of point our troubles somewhere else. We divert that. We don't kind of internalize them the same way. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
Someone interesting, and I know things, but I don't know where they're from.
Yeah.
So copyright.
Yeah, you're getting absolutely torn apart by plagiarism.
Plagiarism. I've heard that word since uni, bro. Like somebody said, we shouldn't tell God how big our problems are. We should be telling our problems how big our God is.
Yeah, come on.
Bless up, bro.
Bless up.
Bless up.
Pleasure talking to you, bro.
Always good.
Bro, I just saw that meme of like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh yeah, Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah, that's our two denominations coming together.
We are a body of Christ, bro.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, exactly right. We are a body of Christ. I think if we're not heretics, then all is good. All is good, brother. Been a pleasure. Pilot episode 1.
Yeah. Thank you
on all platforms.
All platforms. YouTube videos up on YouTube. Obviously, audio will be up on Spotify.
On Spotify.
I think so. I don't know. You got to pay actual.
Joe Rogan doesn't
figure that out.
Last Joe Rogan
gets paid millions. Yeah. Just pay us with
blessings.
Always good. Thank you all for listening to the first episode of Masculine Excellence Through Christ, MXTC. Yes, we're going for the X because it's like a cross.
Because I'm illiterate as well. So
and he's illiterate.
Yeah. If you can see my stuttering, please don't hassle me.
Can't see your stutter.
Well, you can hear it or something. Yeah, but if you're watching, you can...
Yeah.
So don't hassle me. Get out of my DMs. Just leave me alone. I'm weird. It is what it is. It's your boy Zach,
boy Jake. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you this episode.
Would it be episode 2? Or is it episode 1? Because it's the pilot.
Oh, is it?
Episode 2. Catches.
Catches.